Welcome to Freaky Fauna Friday, where every Friday we take a little time and explore some of the freaks of nature from around the planet we cherish so deeply. So please, jump aboard and let's explore the wilds together. Welcome back to Freaky Fauna Friday. I am the great and peaceful Mr. E.
And I'm Jay. And sometimes you just gotta breathe in and just let out a audible, It's good for your soul.
It's good. Today, we're going to talk about the Bombardier beetle.
Oh, I know these guys.
Do you?
Yeah, they fought a lion.
A tiger, but yes.
Close enough. What's the difference?
A lot.
Oh, yeah, it's true, too.
They're different species.
Everything?
They are cats.
Yeah, there you go.
If you're rummaging around the undergrowth for long enough, grabbing at ground beetles, as you might, no matter where you are, at some point, you've probably got your fingers burned. There are some small beetles that don't tolerate such intrusive practices, and they will let you know immediately. A few will spray you with formic acid, but most of them will settle with scalding squirt of boiling liquid to remind you to keep your distance. They are the Bombardier beetles. So these guys prefer woodlands and grasslands. They are found on every continent in the world.
Oh, even Antarctica?
Except Antarctica. That was my next line.
That's pretty funny, but I didn't know they were in every country, though.
Yes. Some are more famous than others for the actual potency of the acid or the temperatures that the chemical reaction reaches.
Okay, so they're different in the regions.
Yes.
Okay.
Most of them are going to be mild. A mild burn, a mild annoyance. A lot of people in the U.S. think they get stung and they can't find a hole, and it's actually a burn from these guys.
Probably, yeah, same feeling, same sensation.
Yeah. As far as your body knows, it's
right.
like pain.
Yeah.
They can live to be about 2 years old. The biggest species is about 1 inch long. The colors, depending on the species, they vary wildly. There's spotted ones, there's red ones, brown ones, yellow, green, blue. They are carnivores, aka they eat other insects and worms. They have some predators, but it's mostly just extremely tough toads.
They can withstand
Yeah.
their attacks
Mm-hmm.
or their defenses. Which is it?
Both.
Okay.
How many species of Bombardier beetle do you think there are?
7.
Keep in mind, every continent except Antarctica.
7.
Just going with 7?
Yep.
Over 500.
Oh, shoot. Okay.
And some experts will actually put that number close to 800.
I was a bit shy.
These are a very successful bug group.
Sounds like it.
Mm-hmm. While there are over 500 species of Bombardier beetle in 4 different tribes, aka clades, which inhabit moist woodlands, grasslands, and leaf litter across the world. Bombardier beetles come in various shapes and sizes. Most of them are very small, around that, half an inch long. But some are several times bigger, up to 2 to maybe 3 inches long, on some of the extremely large species.
I didn't realize these were so common.
Like I said, most of the famous ones are in Asia that you see on Nat Geo and stuff like that. The really, really powerful ones.
But I guess I just didn't realize, though, they're still everywhere.
And they have a myriad of different defenses in the Bombardier beetle family.
Okay.
It's extremely hot liquid. That's a defense. Some of it reaching 700 degrees Fahrenheit. An extremely noxious gas. Toxic foam. And a myriad of other chemical defenses have been noticeable to make them hard to eat. Mechanisms behind their defenses have inspired discussions and curiosity of people from all across the world. A few cases of mimicry from any other arthropod by a vertebrate. Bombardier beetles and their larvae are carnivorous. They hunt at night, both on the ground and in the trees for other small insect larvae and stuff like that to eat. They can fly, and their wings are kept behind a rigid shell. They lay eggs on rotting animal corpses or severely decaying plant matter. That means their own worm-like larvae can utilize a food source when they molt and grow into the adult form.
That makes sense.
Like kind of like flies.
Right. Flies. I was thinking of something else now. I lost it. Okay.
Good talk.
Move on.
Bombardier beetles have not thoroughly been evaluated for their conservation status, but as of now, they're considered not vulnerable to extinction.
Good.
They're very successful.
Sounds like over 800 types, every country in the world, or every continent except Antarctica.
So they have some strange names, like regional names. One of the biggest ones, I'm not going to say the swear word, but it's I-peer. But the swear version. From the language it brought you, flapping shoes, which are butterflies, camel horses, which are giraffes, and iron pigs, which are porcupines, comes an equally comedic description of the particular species of bombardier beetle found in Africa. The African for the animal is the ugapister, which refers to their ability to spray formic acid, not urates, into the eyes of their predators up to 30 centimeters away.
Oh, wow.
When you're that small, that's pretty far.
Good distance, yeah.
And they aim for the eyes.
Well, yeah. I mean, they know what they're doing.
Due to the chemical makeup of the defense, that is usually explained of the bombardier beetle, there are no doubt that their accuracy of these creatures. So my next little freaky fun fact is they can aim.
That's not good.
There are hundreds of species of bombardier beetle, and each with the ability, have some kind of ability to some degree. From that mildly noxious gas to, 50,000 degree boiling acid coming out of their butt. Some secrete a mist, or even a foam, while others have a targeting nozzle to aim and shoot high pressure streams of acid at their enemies.
Jeez.
The majority of bombardier beetles, with what come out of them, is compared of benzoquantine, a noxious product that reacts between two very common chemicals that are found in all arthropods.
So they're doing like a chemical reaction inside their body
their chamber,
and then shooting it out.
Or right as it's leaving their body.
Like when you're mixing, I don't know.
Like a flamethrower.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Like the flammable liquid is shooting out over top of a lit flame.
Yeah.
However, none have quite the spectacular sensationalization that makes up the beetle immune to almost every predator. The incredible defense that given the beetle given its name has puzzled researchers in a number of ways. First of all, it's really, really hot. The liquid released is somewhere around the 100 degrees Celsius, the boiling point of water, enough to kill any insect. So how do they hold on to it, and how do they release it without taking any damage? They really don't know. There's a lot of questions about these guys.
Well, yeah, nature figured out a way.
Yeah, boiling acid comes out of their butt.
I mean, I've been there before.
Taco Bell.
Some rough mornings, yep.
Freaky fun fact 3, an internal explosion. Until recently, the mechanism was not understood at all. This has led several discussions about what it is to find out. But in 2015, it was discovered that an explosive is driven by an internal combustion explosion triggered by the mixing of two precise chemicals inside the beetle's body.
Wow.
Which mix at the very instant they're needed, they react extremely rapidly, exploding out of the back end of the beetle. It is the pressure of the explosion which drives the long-range jets of the spray. The rate of the spray is controlled internally by muscle valves between the two chemical chambers housing the processors.
Man, can't they like reverse engineer this and make a motor out of like these two chemicals and things like that? Like Bombardier beetle run motor?
Yeah.
I feel like it's some science lab or some cartoon. Someone needs to make that.
Yeah, here, let's bring these extremely violent, potent insects into a lab to try to work on how we can crush them up into fuel.
No, you keep them alive.
You're going to milk these things?
For a motor.
All right. You volunteer to milk them. I'm sure they'll try it.
You just got to strap them in a certain,
but that's the thing is you have to strap them in.
Right. Well, that's where the scientist comes in.
No, the scientist is going to hire.
They work that part out.
Yeah. They make frogs vomit is the next one. The explosion saves their lives, but even after being swallowed, frogs, for example, are known to regurgitate the bombardier beetles. Incredibly, a study found that the bombardier beetles have a surprisingly high survival rate when being swallowed and vomited out, about 43%.
That's very good. And because usually when a frog gets you, that's
kind of done.
Yeah, you're done. That's very good.
Last little freaky fauna fact: Charles Darwin was on the receiving end of their chemical defense. This was deployed by another ground beetle that's closely related to the bombardier beetle family. He detailed the encounter in a letter pinned to a naturalist, Leonard Jenyns, in 1846. And here's what he said. Under a piece of bark, I found 2 crabby. I forgot which. And forgot which. So he didn't know which species of, that's the original word for him. And caught one in my hand. And lo and behold, I saw a scarce Progentis corynix. I could not bear to give up either of my crabby. So to lose the Progentis was out of the question. So in my despair, I gently seized one of the crabby between my teeth when, to my unspeakable disgust and incredible pain, the little beast squirted acid down my throat.
Oh, geez, so we got the worst possible outcome from it.
Yeah, because he was grabbing a bunch of little bugs.
He put them in his mouth.
And he was holding one in his mouth trying to get the other 2. And it shot acid down his throat.
I never heard that story before. That's fantastic.
Well, last little freaky fun fact.
Wait. There was no follow-up?
No.
I wonder what happened. Did he have a sore throat for 2 weeks or?
I'm assuming it sucked.
Yeah, because it's.
He wasn't one of the species he was dealing with. Not the deadly ones.
Bad ones. Okay, yeah. It still had to suck.
It still wasn't great. Don't get me wrong, but it wasn't like one of the giant Asian bombardier beetle or something like that.
I wish though,
you seen that?
If you had an assistant or something there, taking notes, and he's you see him just grabbing all these bugs, I'm just.
Darwin put an explosive beetle in his mouth today to see what would happen.
Oh, that'd be funny.
Well, a big thing is that this is a hot topic bug because of their evolutionary history.
Okay.
It is used on the side of both arguments about the theory of evolution, whether it's real or not, because their evolutionary history to get to these amazingly internal complex processors is kind of out there.
Okay.
It's just one of those weird things to where, so let's see. There are insects that have some of these remarkable, stinky abilities like stink bugs. Mussels that can they can secrete toxins, strengthen sensory cells to evolve sensory or secretory ducts. Byproducts of metabolisms evolve to mix the defensive chemicals, creating a reaction which creates a foamy discharge of bombardier beetles in some genuses. Abdominal muscles evolve to hold in these chemicals when not needed. Adaptation decrease with pressures. The wall of the abdomen becomes stronger and thicker. The abdomen elongs, providing the beetles with a way to aim the explosive. So it's just a really complex thing to get to this.
Right.
To get to what essentially is a bug that shoots, depending on which bug, foam that burns, stink juice, or boiling hot acid out of its body.
Yeah, it's quite the...
There's a lot of steps.
Yeah.
And nobody's really figured it out, and it's been one of those hot button topics in that field for a long time. But yeah.
Bugs are weird.
This one especially.
This one's especially freaky.
This is one of the freakiest bugs. True bugs.
Yeah, there's not too many animals that shoot boiling hot acid out of their bodies for defense. Not too
many. With an
many.
internal chemical reaction.
Right, exactly.
So hopefully you guys have enjoyed the bombardier beetle. I have been the great and peaceful mystery.
And I've been Jay.
We'll catch you next week, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Freaky Fauna Friday. If you want to help the podcast grow, remember to share and give it a 5-star review.